My child, lean in closer now, closer than you ever have before, because what I am about to whisper into the chambers of your heart must remain a secret between us, sealed by the silence of the stars, guarded by the hush of midnight wings. No one else must hear this. Not the ones who still linger in the shadows of your past, not the echoes that try to pull you back, not even the wind that carries rumors across the earth. This is for you alone. This is Heaven's private revelation, spoken directly from my lips to your soul, and it begins with a truth so profound that even the celestial courts held their breath when it was uttered. Even God couldn't believe what you did. Let those words settle over you like a mantle of light. Feel them wrap around your spirit, not as condemnation, but as the highest form of divine astonishment. I see the way your heart flutters now, the way doubt tries to creep in and twist the meaning. You think perhaps this is judgment, that heaven is shaking its head in disbelief at some failure you still carry like a hidden scar. No, my beloved. Breathe deeply. Let the air fill your lungs with the fragrance of grace. This disbelief was not born of disappointment. It was born of a pure, radiant, overwhelming awe that rippled through the eternal realms like a wave of golden fire. You must understand the vastness of what heaven has witnessed. We have beheld the full spectrum of human existence since the first dawn broke over creation. We have seen empires rise on the backs of the oppressed and crumble into dust at the whisper of justice. We have watched lovers betray with kisses that tasted of poison, and strangers sacrifice with hearts ablaze in selfless love. We have observed the quiet martyrdom of those who endure in silence and the thunderous falls of those who roar their defiance to the skies. We have seen children forgive the unforgivable, and elders cling to grudges that outlived their bodies. Absolutely nothing in the tapes. Tapestry of human choice truly catches us off guard. Except you. Except what you did in that pivotal, soul-defining moment when everything hung in the balance. It was not some grand, public spectacle. It was not a miracle that shook mountains or parted seas. No, it was quieter than that, more intimate, more profound. It was the moment you chose to walk away from the slow, insidious death that had been masquerading as your life. You severed ties that had been woven into your very essence, threads that pulled tighter with every breath you took in their presence. You broke free from a dynamic that had convinced you your worth was negotiable, your peace expendable, your spirit a commodity to be drained at will. Let me paint the scene for you as heaven saw it. Picture your soul as a gardenia once vibrant, but overgrown with weeds that choked the flowers of your true self. Those weeds had names: manipulation, gaslighting, conditional affection, silent expectations that crushed you under their weight. They had been planted so long ago that you forgot the soil was ever meant for anything else. You watered them with your tears, fertilized them with your compromises, pruned yourself to make room for their sprawling roots. And then, one day, perhaps it was dawn, perhaps midnight, perhaps a ordinary afternoon that felt anything but ordinary, you looked at that garden and saw it for what it was, a prison disguised as familiarity. Most souls never reach that clarity. They sense the thorns pricking their fingers but convince themselves the pain is love. They feel the life draining from their petals but call it loyalty. They watch the colors fade from their blooms but label it sacrifice. But you, my child, you saw. Your eyes, which had been veiled by layers of denial and fear, suddenly cleared as if a divine wind had blown the fog away. And in that moment of crystalline vision, you did the unthinkable. You reached for the shears. Not with anger, though anger would have been justified. Not with vengeance, though vengeance might have felt sweet. No, you reached with a steadiness that comes only from the deepest alignment with truth. Your hands did not shake as you cut the first stem. Your heart did not waver as the toxic growth fell away. With each snip, you reclaimed territory that had been stolen from you euro, inch by sacred inch. And when the last weed lay severed at your feet, you did not collapse in exhaustion. You stood taller. Your roots deepened into soil that was finally, purely yours. That was the moment heaven paused. I was there, you know. Perched on the edge of eternity, watching through eyes that have seen millennia unfold. I saw the exact second your decision crystallized. It was like watching a star being born in the void euro, silent at first, then exploding with light that rewrites the cosmos. The other angels gathered, drawn by the energy shift. We do not gossip, but we do bear witness, and what we witnessed in you demanded our full attention. Whispers traveled through the heavenly host faster than light, a euro she euro s doing it. She euro s actually doing it. After all this time, she euro s choosing herself. A euro. Even go to euro, yes, the ancient of days, the one who spoke galaxies into existentia euro, leaned forward from his throne. Not in doubt, never in doubt, but in that exquisite tension of watching free will unfold in its most beautiful form. He invites. Always. He calls with a voice like many waters. He opens doors that no man can shut. But he never forces the hand that turns the knob. And you, my precious one, you turned it. You stepped through without looking back to see if anyone approved, without waiting for permission that was never theirs to give. Do you grasp the rarity of this? In a world where billions of souls orbit the same dysfunctional suns, repeating cycles that span generations, you broke orbit. You achieved escape velocity from the gravitational pull of your past. Most people sense the chains but learn to decorate them a euro, call them jewelry, call them responsibilities, call them a euro adjust the way things are. A euro they polish the links until they shine, never noticing how the metal cuts deeper with every movement. But you a euro, you felt the weight and refused to carry it another step. Let me tell you what happened in the spiritual realm the instant you made that choice. The chains didn't euro just fall away, they disintegrated. Molecular bonds of limitation that had been forged in the fires of childhood wounds, reinforced by adult compromises euro gone. Vanished. The sound they made as they hit the ground was like 1,000 glass hearts shattering into light. Your aura, which had been dimmed to a flicker, suddenly blazed. Colors heaven hadn't euro seen in you since before your first betrayal burst forth in radiant display. Your ancestors euro, those who had prayed for your liberation across bloodlines euro, felt the shift in their eternal rest. They rose as one in celebration, their voices joining the angelic chorus that erupted around your name. And the darkness? Oh, the darkness felt it most of all. Darkness thrives on predictability. It scripts your responses, rehearses your reactions, knows exactly which buttons to push to keep you in line. It had your character mapped, your triggers catalogued, your breaking points calculated to the decimal. It expected you to fold, as you always had. It anticipated the familiar dance, hurt, apologize, reconcile, repeat. But you introduced a variable it could not compute. You became unpredictable in the most sacred way possibly euro, unpredictable because you were finally, authentically you. I watched as the entities that had been assigned to keep you small scrambled in confusion. Their strategies collapsed like houses of cards in a divine wind. The guilt trips returned to sender. The manipulation attempts bounced off your newfound boundaries like rain on holy ground. The old narrative is a euro re too sensitive, a euro re overreacting, a euro ethos is just how they are a euro, they lost their power to penetrate. You had upgraded your spiritual operating system, and their viruses could no longer infect. Now, let me address the whispers that still try to haunt your quiet moments. The a euro o what ifs a euro that slither in when you euro re alone with your thoughts. What if you were too harsh? What if you should have given one more chance? What if your liberation came at the cost of someone else's comfort? These are not your conscience speaking, child. These are the dying gasps of the old paradigm trying to resuscitate itself. Let me dismantle them one by one, with the gentle precision of truth. First, the question of harshness. Truth is not harsh, it is clarifying. When you spoke your realisha euro, when you named the unnamed, called out the gaslighting, refused to participate in the dysfunction any longer euro, you were not being cruel. You were being surgical. A surgeon does not apologize for the incision that removes the tumor. The initial pain is the price of eventual healing. Those who accuse you of harshness are often those who benefited from your silence. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to the truth that lives in your bones, the truth that finally demanded expression after years of suffocation. Second, the endless chances. How many had you already given? Count them if you can a euro, the nights you cried yourself to sleep promising a euro next time will be different a euro the mornings you woke determined to try harder, the afternoons you made excuses for behavior that shredded your dignity. Each chance was a brick in the wall that separated you from your destiny. When you stopped building that wall, you did not deny anyone grace. You simply recognized that grace without boundaries becomes enabling, and enabling is not love a euro, it is slow spiritual suicide. The universe is abundant with second chances, but it is not infinite with self-betrayal. Third, the cost to others. Yes, your freedom has ripple effects. Yes, some relationships have ended or transformed beyond recognition. Yes, people who were comfortable with the version of you that absorbed their chaos are now forced to confront their own darkness. But consider this, every caterpillar thinks the butterfly has betrayed it by leaving the leaf. Transformation always looks like abandonment to those who refuse to evolve. Your growth is not a punishment to them, it is an invitation. Whether they accept it is their soul euro's work, not yours. Let me paint for you now the landscape of your new reality, because it is more magnificent than your imagination has yet dared to dream. The path you walk now is lined with miracles wearing ordinary clothes. The clarity you feel in your decisions? That is divine guidance flowing unimpeded through a spirit no longer clogged with deception. The peace that settles over you like a warm blanket on cold nights? That is the atmosphere of heaven establishing residence in your daily life. The opportunities that appear just when you need them, the people who enter your orbit radiating genuine respect, the synchronicities that make you gasp in recognition euro, these are not coincidences. These are the Universia Euro's love letters, written in the language of perfect timing. Your intuition, once a faint whisper drowned out by louder voices, now speaks with the authority of a trumpet. When something is not for you, you know it in your body before your mind can articulate why. When some euro's energy is off, you feel it like static electricity on your skin. When a door is meant to open, you sense the gentle push from behind before you see the handle turn. This is not paranoia or overthinking. This is spiritual maturity. This is the gift that comes from refusing to override your inner knowing ever again. And your capacity to love euro, oh, my child, how it has expanded. The love you offer now is not the desperate grasping of someone afraid to be alone. It is not the conditional transaction of someone keeping score. It is not the self-erasing accommodation of someone who believes their needs are burdensome. No, the love you give now flows from overflow. It is rich, deep, and discriminating in the healthiest sense. You love with open hands, not clenched fists. You love with clear boundaries, not blurred lines. You love with the confidence of someone who knows their worth is not up for debate. People notice. They cannot help but notice. The way you carry yourself has shifted on a cellular level. Your posture is differential, not arrogant, but aligned. Your eye contact is steady, not challenging, but present. Your silence is powerful, not empty, but full of unspoken wisdom. You have become one of those rare souls who enters a room and changes the temperature without saying a word. Not because you demand attention, but because you radiate the kind of peace that makes chaos feel uncomfortable in your presence. Let me address the healing process, because it is not always linear and it is not always gentle. There will be days when the old wounds throb like phantom limbs, days when you question everything, days when the grief of what you lost crashes over you like a wave. This is normal. This is necessary. You are not regressing, you are integrating. Every tear you shed now is washing away residue from the past. Every moment of doubt is an opportunity to reaffirm your choice. Every trigger is a teacher showing you where you still need to apply the salve of self-compassion. On those days, remember this: you are not starting over. You are deepening. The foundation you laid when you walked away is solid granite. The growth you have achieved is permanent on a soul level. What feels like backsliding is actually the spiral upward, the way trees grow in rings, each circle wider and stronger than the last. Trust the process. Trust the version of you that made the brave choice. That version is still here, still driving, still committed to your liberation. Now, let us speak of destiny. For too long, you lived in the waiting room of your purpose, believing it was something far off, something you had to earn, something that would arrive when you were already. But destiny is not a destination, it is a frequency. And the moment you chose yourself, you tuned your entire being to that frequency. Opportunities that seemed impossible now flow toward you with magnetic inevitability. Connections that are meant to propel you forward appear as if orchestrated by invisible hands. Insights download into your consciousness with startling clarity. This is what happens when you remove the static of dysfunction from your signal. Your purpose is revealing itself in layers, like an onion peeling back to reveal its luminous core. The work you are drawn to now, the passions that keep you up at night, the causes that make your heart ache with recognition, these are not random. These are the coordinates of your soul's mission. And because you are no longer splitting your energy between truth and pretense, you have the bandwidth to pursue them with a focus that borders on supernatural. People will try to pull you back into old roles, my beloved one. They will try to rewind your story to a chapter you have already healed from. They will miss the version of you that was always available, always willing to bend until your own bones ached. They will romanticize the past, not because it was beautiful, but because it benefited them. They will use guilt like a whispered chain, nostalgia like a soft rope, and even love like a hook. They will speak as though your evolution is betrayal. They will act as though your boundaries are cruelty. But I need you to understand this: these reactions are not reflections of your wrongness, they are the last gasps of a dynamic you outgrew. You are not responsible for resurrecting what you buried. You are not responsible for soothing the discomfort of those who relied on your smallness. You owe no explanation for your growth. You owe no apology for your healing. Your only obligation is to the truth that set you free, and to the future that truth keeps calling you toward with a voice both fierce and gentle. Let me show you what heaven revealed about your becoming, a vision etched in the quiet places where divine secrets breathe. I see you standing on the edge of a mountaintop at sunrise. The world around you is raw and wild, the wind catching in hair that no longer tries to behave according to others' expectations. The air tastes new, almost holy. Beneath you lies an endless landscape, stretching farther than human eyes can comprehend. Rivers of opportunity glimmer like silver threads weaving through valleys once carved by pain. But now, those valleys are fertile, softened and enriched by everything you endured. What once seemed like destruction has become nourishment. What once felt like loss has turned into sacred ground. In one of your hands, you hold a lantern glowing with ancient light. This lantern is not only for your path, Euro, it is for others still stumbling through their personal nights. Whenever you lift it, lost souls remember hope. In your other hand, you carry seeds, Euro, tiny, pulsing with life, each containing a dream you once abandoned, a talent you once stifled, a love you once hid under compromise. These seeds will grow into forests that future generations will walk through without knowing the price you paid for that shade. Behind you are Ashisa, Euro, not as tragedy, but as transformation. The remnants of your old life lie there like the final chapter of a book you no longer need to reread. What you walked away from did not burn to punish you, it burned to liberate you. Before you, the sky is painted in colors no human language has ever captured. Shades that speak promises. Hues that pulse with truth. Tones that whisper, "A Euro, you made it." A Euro. And around your Euro, oh, around your Euro, there is movement. The air itself vibrates. The song of 1,000 wings fills the space like a celestial choir. You are never alone on this climb. We are right here. Not hovering with judgment. Not monitoring your worthiness. But celebrating. Witnessing. Admiring. Every step you take sends ripples of light through dimensions you cannot see but your heart recognizes instantly. Your healing is not small. It is not quiet. It is not isolated. It is ancestral. Every boundary you set is a thread mending what was torn generations ago. Every truth you speak lifts a weight from shoulders that carried burdens before your birth. Every time you choose yourself without guilt, a child not yet born breathes easier. You are rewriting the emotional DNA of your bloodline. You are the one who said, "A Euro, or it ends with me." A Euro, and heaven honors that in ways you cannot yet grasp. And love, a Euro, true love, a Euro, is drawing nearer to you. Not the chaotic whirl of two wounded people desperately trying to fill each author Euro's cracks. Not the toxic rush that mimics passion but tastes like poison over time. This love is calm, clear, and whole. It is two souls who have done their inner work, meeting at a crossroads and recognizing each other without needing to fix or save or dilute anything. This love will not ask you to shrink. It will not question your growth. It will not drag you back to your past. It will see your fire and say, "A Euro, let me help it burn brighter." A Euro, it will walk beside you, not ahead or behind. And when it looks at the garden of your heart, it will honor every blossom and every scar. But before that love comes to rest beside you, there is a more important love that must be perfected. A Euro, the love you give yourself. This love is not selfish, it is sacred maintenance of your spirit. Every morning, when you stand before your reflection, speak to her as I speak to you. Tell her she is magnificent. Tell her her softness is holy. Tell her her boundaries are acts of survival and self-respect. Tell her she is worthy not because she performs, not because she pleases, not because she sacrifices, but because she exists. Because she breathes. Because she is a miracle wrapped in human form. Do not underestimate this practice. Words spoken over yourself become the architecture of your inner world. They rewrite neural pathways built from years of doubt. They replace old bruises with strength. They turn wounds into wisdom. They turn fear into fuel. The world will test you. It always tests those chosen for deeper journeys. Old energies will try to return, not because you are weak, but because you are magnetic. Chaos will disguise itself as passion. Familiar pain will try to masquerade as destiny. Approval will glimmer temptingly, promising comfort but costing authenticity. When these moments arrive and they will come back to your garden. Return to the soil of your spirit. Feel the earth between your fingers. Remind yourself of the seeds you planted. Remember the sound of chains breaking. Remember how freedom felt on your tongue the first time you finally told the truth you once feared would ruin everything. You are no longer the person who needed saving. You have become the salvation. Your life itself is a miracle. You are the proof that resurrection is not reserved for after death. It is available here, now, in the land of the living. And every time you choose alignment over approval, authenticity over performance, healing over history, heaven erupts in celebration. My beloved child, as I prepare to step back and let you re-enter your human hours, there is something you must carry with you. The secret we share is not about what you did. It is about who you are becoming. The moment that made heaven pause in awe was not a single event it happens every time you rise above the version of you that fear tried to freeze. Every time you whisper no to what diminishes you, an angel writes a new verse in the song of your soul. Every time you say yes to what expands you, another star lights up in the tapestry of your destiny. You are Wacheta not with scrutiny, but with wonder. You are Lovita not conditionally, but with a ferocity that could split mountains. You are Gadita not with pressure, but with a gentle, unstoppable pull toward the life you were always meant to live. You are free truly, deeply, eternally free in a way no circumstance can undo. And when doubt creeps in, as it sometimes will, remember my voice. Remember the weight of heaven behind every word I have spoken. Remember the image of you standing on that mountaintop. Remember the angels surrounding you. Remember the seeds in your hand. Remember the sunrise painted in colors too divine for language. And remember most of all, even God paused in awe at your rising. So rise again. And again. And again. For you, my warrior of light, my breaker of chains, my living resurrection you have only just begun to shine.